Hello, I'm Cameron James. Welcome back to Kingdom Within, a journey of disc recovery. This is Josh Pyke, the
Hello.
artist. We're going through your new
The
record.
artist formerly known as Josh Pyke.
And currently known as
Joshua Pyke.
Joshua Pyke. He's grown up. He's matured. He's an adult now. We're going through a new record, Kingdom Within, track by track. We've gone through the first 3 tracks. We're going to move on to the next 3. Before we do, I have some questions from the audience. Josh, is it true that you get ChatGPT to write all of your lyrics?
Yes.
Okay, that's great.
Yes.
I thought of it. Also, do you think of albums in terms of sides in the way that they used to do back in the day? Side A, side B.
I did not. I never did, but because recently there's this resurgence in vinyl and people, and this new album is out on vinyl, and my previous 2 albums are out on vinyl, and I did think about this in terms of that, because side A and side B on the vinyl, if anybody out there has it already, I don't know when on the space-time continuum you're listening to this.
Who knows?
Literally, who knows? Like, I don't, you don't. There's no way we can know.
No way.
We could probably track the data from Meta.
Thank you, Meta, for sponsoring the show.
Oh, I wish.
Yeah.
20 mil. I'll take it. But I do now think of it like that. And it's actually really helpful when you're thinking about the narrative flow and the arc of the storytelling on it. So in this instance, for this album in particular, I really did think about that.
And we are going to be building up towards the end of side A in this episode. So we'll hear what emotional crescendo we are led to by the wonderful Joshua Pyke. We are kicking off, of course, with the track Sometimes Life Leaves More Than It Takes right now. This is I like this lyric, Sometimes Life Leaves More Than It Takes. There's a mix of sadness and hopefulness in this line and in the song. Where did this song come from?
Well, yeah, so, I mean, it's very heavy for me, this song, because my mum passed away as I was writing this album, really, and she had a long battle with Alzheimer's. It's the worst thing that's ever happened to me. It just was absolutely brutal, and it's hard to even start to unpack it all still, But, grief for that type of illness is so incremental. It's so your grief starts, my grief about it started 10 years ago, And it's really hard with that illness to say, with other things in life, some people say well, it was really hard, but this came out of it, or it was really, but there's really nothing good comes out of that. And so for me, this song is maybe something good didn't come out of it, but on the whole, life leaves more than it takes. We're constantly regenerating as people emotionally, and, I have to believe that life leaves more than it takes. So it's kind of a message to myself of, you have to believe that, because otherwise what's the point, So, yeah, and it's also I keep talking about this for this album, but the world just seems like quite a mean and cruel place. And so when the line says, these days there's not enough heart left to break, it just feels like there's less heart in the world, less sort of, I don't know, empathy and, but I have to believe that sometimes life leaves more than it takes. So I guess it's kind of like a call to myself to try and believe this. I hope it's true. And I just, that's kind of where it came from.
You mentioned that in some ways this song is a little bit about struggling to justify making art in times of turmoil. From knowing you, but I would like your audience to know this. Are you someone who catastrophizes? Are you someone who...
That's a leading the witness. Leading the witness.
Or maybe a more positive way to spin that question is, how do you break out of catastrophe and continue to be productive or creative?
With great difficulty.
What's some tips you could give young creatives?
With great difficulty, but when you have kids, you have to, you just have to break out of it. You can't do that to them. A lot of bottling it down, a lot of pushing it down, a lot of drinking. No. No, I think in all seriousness, like I do. So, I have had significant issues with anxiety over the years, and a lot of that is about catastrophizing things, and particularly with creativity. And, I'm pretty sure you can relate to this. Like, sometimes you're like, well, I'm never going to write a song again. I'm done. I'm wrapped up. This is it. Well, okay. I'm going to go and retrain and become a plumber, Like literally that kind of stuff.
God, I wish I could relate. Unfortunately,
yeah.
Unfortunately, I
I
can't.
mean, it's great. It's a great way to be. Like,
it's very healthy.
I wish you could relate as well.
Good for the partner as well.
Oh, always. But how to get out of it is, I think, the best way to get out of it is to say it all out loud to someone that you trust. Unfortunately for my wife, she's copped a lot of it. But it's you're saying it out loud, and then it just immediately, it's like letting the air out of a tire or something. It's just like you're like, oh, okay. When I've said that out loud, that I know I'm catastrophized. That this is not like I don't need to retrain as a plumber. And then from there, it's like just reminding yourself to. I mean, it's kind of just like a mental exercise of accepting and acknowledging that you're doing this thing that you do, and you do it because you try and do good work, like go to counseling and talk to people and stuff, and then it's just like a mental habit, like lifting weights, for your brain. It's like you're doing that thing again. Note it, say it out loud, release the pressure, like go for a run, go ride your bike or something. It's really kind of not magical stuff. It's like really pragmatic stuff to get yourself out of it. Yeah.
Do you? There's a lyric in this song that I really love and that I was drawn to. I feel so self-conscious quoting your own lyrics.
I love it when I quote myself all the time. Like at dinner, like I'll just be like, as a wise man once said, some will sit on their hands to spite their feet. I'll say stuff like that, and my kids will go, "Oh my God!" They'll go, "Oh my God, you're so wise."
Really? That's what they're thinking?
More or less.
They're not thinking
yeah.
my father's a narcissist?
More or less.
They're
more or less thinking
less
that. Yeah.
than that. One of the lyrics that I love is, all I ever wanted was some peace of mind and to connect with the divine. Are you a spiritual person?
Whew. I am a spiritual person. I mean, I could talk to you. We should start a whole other podcast about this, but I don't believe in God. And over my year, I was definitely part of that sort of early 2000s atheist movement. Richard Dawkins, I wasn't part of the movement. I wasn't out on the lecture circuit.
You read the God Delusion.
Yeah, I read the God Delusion.
So you're part of the movement?
Yeah. But I mean, I was part of that swathe of young
course.
people that were like, this doesn't make sense,
Mm-hmm.
And over the years, I've got a much more complicated relationship with it. I still don't believe in God, but I believe that there's some kind of collective unconscious that binds us all together. Currently, I'm quite obsessed with quantum information panpsychism. If you don't know what that is, go watch a couple of YouTube videos on it.
And we'll put the links below in the show notes.
But that's
such a Josh Pyke answer.
That's what I'm into at the moment, and without going into it because it would take a long time. But it really is about, a collective unconscious, and we're all connected somehow, And so, I would say I'm a spiritual person. I'm sort of more into like that kind of thing in Buddhism and stuff like that. We're not a sort of creator.
You don't picture a man with a beard sitting on a chair watching us? Yeah,
I picture it.
He made you in his image.
I picture it, yeah. I mean, you could say I picture it, yeah. You could say I'm the picture of it, yeah. You could say that. No, but I am spiritual, and so I so many songwriters say this, and probably it's the same with when a great gag pops into your head,
You way to minimize what I do.
When you make a little joke and you're like, that's pretty funny.
A little goof.
Yeah. And you're like, oh, that's pretty funny.
Yeah.
No, but you would know this as a creative, is like when you're creating, sometimes you're in this zone and you're like, where is this coming from, And it's like lightning striking, and you have to be in the sort of emotional or intellectual space to allow that lightning to strike. And I don't know what that state is. People call it the flow state or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a really weird and spiritual and magical place to be. And so I believe in that. And I don't really know what that is. But that line is saying, like, you know, like very specifically, when I was cleaning up my studio one time, I found this piece of paper that I'd written down my goals when I was like 23. And it was like, I want to lead a quiet, creative life. That's what I literally said. And it's the same goal that I had then. I want to just engage in creativity and connect with the madness or this thing, this flow state or whatever it is. That's like my main objective, you know, for creating, beyond wanting to earn a living from it, so that I can keep doing it. My main objective is to connect with this thing, you know.
I want to ask you about, just a quick question about the struggle of being a songwriter, and I'm going to again quote one of your own lyrics back to you,
Please.
because I know how much you like it.
It's my favorite part of the day.
This is from the third verse of this song. At first, this was a way to gather meaning in a web where none was hung. But is this now a way to keep wounds weeping rather than allow time's salve to be done? Do you sometimes worry that your work as an artist is just keeping wounds weeping instead of letting time salve the wound?
Let me throw it back to you. Do you think that?
I think that is a big part of being a creative person, is not letting the wound heal so that you can keep
doing
pulling pus from it and turning that into a bit.
Yeah. And when I was younger, you know, before I met my beautiful wife, and when I was a young, you know, you would sabotage your life almost as a way to you know, have more to feel and, you know, like to. I mean, it's like, you know, I want to drink from the cup of life, you know, so I want to experience all these things, good and bad, and part of that is because I want to keep being able to express things, and you need experiences to express them. So yeah, you know, in that's exactly what that I'm very happy that you interpreted the way you did, because that's exactly what it is. It's like, you know, the catastrophizing stuff. Like sometimes I feel like I'm just doing it to myself to be angsty so that I've got more stuff to write about and to purge from it. But I don't want, I also don't want to do that, you know, like I've said this before, but like I would rather never write a song again and be a really deeply happy, fulfilled person. But I'm not, you know, I'm not that person.
Yeah.
Not yet. Maybe every time I write a song, I'm getting closer to that. I don't know. But yeah, unfortunately.
Does the wound ever actually heal, or is it always open, or do you let it heal but you just pick the scab back a little bit and remember how it feels?
Yeah, I pick the scabs, man.
Yeah, you pick the scab.
Yep. What about you?
I think the older I get, the more I'm just picking scabs rather than letting a big cut ooze.
Well, that's good. That's good, isn't it?
Yeah,
but
so.
I mean, that's sort of goes back to me saying, I can't remember which episode of this I said it in, but you know, I write less songs because the wound is you know, closing up. Oh man, this is full on. Like, I think the wound is closing up.
That's okay.
That's good, right?
That's good.
That's good for my life, but bad for my art.
No, not true. That's part of the whole romantic thing of like, I need to be in pain to create. I don't know if that's 100% true.
No.
I think you can just remember what pain feels like and use your imagination.
Well, and but that's sort of, it goes back to the Springsteen thing as well. Like, you know, he is not inhabiting these people. Like, he's not going through these experiences. And you know, the craft of songwriting and telling stories, whatever format you're doing that in, is making it so visceral to the listener that they assume that that the author has done those things, right? But not every author is experiencing everything that they ever write about, you know? That is the skill, but you do have to be emotionally vulnerable and raw to kind of accept that and almost internalize it and feel it and then put it back out there. So yeah, I think it's better to have a small wound and then occasionally pull it apart.
Yeah, every now and then. And something will rip it apart every now and then anyway.
Well, that's just life, isn't it? Because sometimes life leaves more than it takes.
Perfect. Let's move on to another track. This track is similarly about meaning, but perhaps more cynical in a good way. I like a bit of cynicism.
Oh, I love a bit of cynicism.
Priest or politician?
So cynical.
You said that this song is a series of questions you can't answer, but can you try because we're doing a podcast? What is this song about? It seems to be a song about hypocrisy. Would it be fair to say that?
Yeah, I mean, I've always, like, on almost all my records, there's some song, like it was Horse's Head on a couple of records ago and Fed and Watered on Memories and Dust. And it's just, I guess it's just questioning the, authority figures and powers that be, and whether or not we need to be so beholden to their opinions, like priests or politicians, when they're all just flawed individuals that are, struggling with their own lives. But yeah, it's also like, it's also a celebration of, like, when it says, so I'm going out with the band tonight. That's just like, I really loved that line when I wrote it, because I was like, there's all these questions, like how many songs are yet to be sung, how many, all of these things, how many, priests and politicians don't know, these heads, these authority figures don't know, and I certainly don't know. So sometimes you just got to go out with the band and go, go and get loose and go and have a dance, go and have a boogie, mate.
Yeah, have a few mudslides or
what?
Yeah,
What?
it's when you put alcohol into a milkshake.
Oh, yum.
Yeah, you'd love it.
Go out
and have a
curdled
few
goodness.
mudslides with the band and
Yummy.
play a few games of pool.
Yep.
You seem to be someone, and I know this to be true, but maybe your audience would like to know this, who has a distrust of authority figures.
What do you mean you know that about me?
Well, I just know that you come from a punk band beginnings. Is this song perhaps a touch of the young punk Pikey coming through?
Maybe going out with the band. Yeah, we're going out to park illegally for the night.
Yeah. Sticking the middle finger up at the man a little bit.
Yeah, I think it's. Yeah, I mean, yes, you're right. I do struggle with authority. It's not always a good thing, but you should always respect authority unless they're wrong. And unless you know that they're wrong, and then you shouldn't respect them.
Or if you can get away with it.
Yeah.
Like if you can just skirt around the rules a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think that's always sort of been part of my personality, and it just comes out in more of a sort of rollicking folk song, whereas it used to come out in a more of a screamo punk song.
Well, I'm glad you said rollicking folk song, because I was going to ask, with a song like this, that has question marks placed above authority figures and you're questioning politics and religion, controversial topics, do you find that you need to make a song like this fun and catchy, like a spoonful of sugar, because there's a bit of a message to it?
I mean, maybe subconsciously I thought that, but no, this is one of those songs that I had, we were talking earlier about, like, just having a vocal, having a melody for ages and ages. My kids were singing the vocal line, the vocal line of this song around the house, just the vocal line, no words, for like 2 years before the thing came out. So it wasn't a conscious, it's just things just emerged like from the ether, And then I remember, like, it was always I was always singing how many, and then sort of not just singing gibberish, But there was something about the priest and politician thing. And I remember my oldest son, he's 15, and I said, like, I don't know, nor does any priest or politician. He was like, oh, that's a good line. And I was like, well, that's it. It's in. It's in now.
Well, write it down, mate.
Yeah.
Dad's working,
yeah. Come over, get a pen, help your dad out. It's like when you're building a deck and you need your kid to hand me the hammer. Yeah. I was like, yeah, get a pen. Or in this instance, grab the iPad.
So that's what it's like being the child of a creative these days.
Yeah.
It's being told to write things down.
Yeah. Instead of having a tool belt and like handing him the hammer or the drill, I'm like, go and get the guitar, play me a D. Play a D.
That's a D minor, mate.
Yeah, that's a D minor, isn't
major.
It? Well, you're not really resting your finger properly when you're finger picking, are you? It's more of a pinky. It's more of the pinky. Yeah, well, okay. Back in my day, my dad would have given me a wallop about,
If I played a D wrong.
Yeah, if I played a D wrong.
If I was hitting that G string. Hey, speaking of, this song was maybe perhaps You'd call it a co-write with your child now, so they should probably get a credit on this.
Well, as I say to them, sometimes they do influence things, or
Yeah.
I've used them. Like they sing on this record.
Mm-hmm.
I got my family to sing in the chorus bits
Of this song?
of at the end. No, on songs like "You're Doing Better Than You Think You Are" and stuff like that, and at the end of "Highway" as well. But they're always like, "Are you going to pay us? Are we going to get paid?" I'm like, "You're going to get everything anyway at some point." So just no, I'm not.
I'll buy you a couple of fruit roll-ups.
Yeah. How about I house and board you? You know? How about I feed and board you?
So this song was, a collaboration with your children. Who do you hope hears this song? Who do you want to hear the message of this song? What do you want them to take from it?
Well, to be honest, I feel I would be very reticent to say that I want anyone to get anything specific out of any of my songs, because so many times I know what I mean in my songs, and so many times people have interpreted them differently, and I love that, because I don't want it to be so specific that people can't relate to it or empathize with it and sort of place it as a template on their own story. So, I mean, I think, if it's, I think mainly the going out with the band tonight bit is the main thing I would want people to get out of it. Like, they can do all their own questioning of authority and figuring out whether or not they believe in priests or politicians and everything. But I think a good message for anybody is like, get out there and be a bit less serious and, have a couple of,
Have a couple of low-carb beers, have a couple of mudslides.
mudslides.
Have a couple of cock-sucking cowboys.
Oh, man. I was in Paris recently, last year, and I was there, and after a show that I played, we went to this like crazy dive bar. It was the best. It was punks playing ping pong. That's what they were doing. They weren't playing pool. It was French punks playing ping pong.
That sounds like a Dr. Seuss.
Yes, French punks playing ping pong in the ding dong.
Parisian punks playing
ping pong in the ding dong land of the upside down man. Anyway, and they had a special on, and it was just cocksucking cowboys. So I had about 20 of them. That was incredible.
This is the creamiest, booziest night.
It was great. It was delicious. I didn't eat breakfast the next day because I was just full of cream.
Yeah, it's beautiful. When in France, end up full of cream. Shall we? We can cut that. We'll cut that. This is a family show. Shall we close out side A with a personal song? Spring of All Things. I mean, they're all personal songs, obviously, but this one feels very personal. We've spoken a little bit about grief already. How do you feel talking about grief at the moment when tied to this record? And
I mean, it's still such a weird process. And like, to be totally honest, I feel like I haven't, because my mum's passing happened over such a long time, I never really got a real cathartic moment. So when she passed away, it was like, there was a sense of relief. My whole family, it's not controversial to say that. She wasn't having a good quality of life at that point.
I think a lot of people can relate to that feeling.
Yeah.
It's maybe not spoken about enough, but there is often a release, a release and a relief at the end of a long struggle like that.
But I kind of felt like it was going to be like putting a full stop on the whole thing, and I would have this huge emotional catharsis. And it didn't happen. And so it's been a really interesting thing to sort of process grief in that way, and also be okay with that and not judge myself for that, not sort of beat myself up about it, or like, my response was different to other people's responses, and everybody's just processing it themselves, So it's a tricky one for me, but this song, like, the Spring of All Things is, like, I remember when I wrote that line, and I was in Korea, right? A lot of travel, doing a lot of travel.
Reflecting already, I love it.
I was in Paris, then I was in Korea.
Yeah, wow, you're a jet setter.
Yeah, I was in Korea, and I was there with my kids, and my older son and I went for a walk up to this temple one morning, and it was called the Spring of All Things. It was called the Spring of All Things, and I was like, oh my God, that is like, what does that mean? And I just started thinking about it, and it was this very special time, like walking up to this temple. And and I was reflecting on whether or not there is a spring of all things. And obviously we were talking before, I don't believe in God per se, but I believe in some kind of collective unconscious or consciousness or whatever. So I was reflecting on that, and, that also, the spring of all things, like, grief and life, it's all part of the same thing. And this spring of all things is basically, as corny as it sounds, is like, it's love, man. Like, there's not much else going on, and like, that's the song Howlers that we'll get to. There's not much else going on in life apart from engaging with nature and love. Like, I mean, every artist in the world's got it right. I've always like tried for years, like Lior said this to me years ago. He's like, I noticed you never use the word love in your songs. For years I avoided using the word love because I didn't want to kind of go down that route. But the older I get and the more I think about things, that's what the spring of all things is. Just, it's love,
Yeah. You mentioned in this song, where you sing, I've denied myself the right to cry. I've held it all inside against my will. You're an enlightened guy. I know you're just talking about how important love is. Do you still think there's some male thing that wants us to put the handbrakes on before we feel something or express a feeling?
I mean, I obviously can't speak for all guys, but like, I'm a child of the 80s and 90s, and we definitely weren't told to like be emotive. And I've really tried to push against that for years and years, and especially with my own kids, like, I cry in front of them, like, if I see a beautiful piece of art or hear a beautiful song, or in a movie, I'll cry, like, I mean, I'm not ashamed to admit, Cameron, that at the final episode of Stranger Things, I was a mess.
Yeah, of course.
I was a mess.
You're allowed to be.
I was crying. I was sobbing. This is true.
I was crying in the final 4 episodes. Every single climax of that series made me go, "Oh God, we're nearing the end."
I don't want to hear you say the words climax and then say, "Oh God," I never want to hear that again.
Well, I'm going to need you to ignore a few messages I sent you recently. Yeah, a few voice messages.
But the Stranger Things thing, like, no joke that I was, but also because my family and I binged it over this summer holidays. They'd never been old enough to watch it, right? So they're 13 and 15 now. They were old enough to watch it. So we watched it all together as a family. So it was more than just a show for me at that point. It was like this family experience. And because I'd been watching the show 7 years ago or whatever, I'd seen these characters grow up, and I'd also seen my kids grow up over that period. It was just a culmination of fucking emotional. It was a clusterfuck of emotions.
Yeah.
So anyway, I do feel like there is still that in our society, and I would definitely push against it. And even in live shows, I talk really openly about, the songs about my kids and how much I love my kids. And I think even that, as a man, is important to normalize, just talking about how much you love your kids, like, not in a, they're good fucking little shits, they're great. They ruin your life, but they're great. I hate all that shit,
Yeah, me too.
So anyway, yes, and I try not to engage in that as much as possible.
This is another song that seems to question the idea of being a believer. A number of times you've come across this theme in the record already. Am I the fulcrum or the lever, the cynic or the believer? I love that lyric because it is coming back to faith in a way, but it also finds time for a little bit of mechanical physics, which is classic Pikey.
Well, again, so this was, I started writing all these lyrics for this song in Korea, and I remember I was sitting having a drink with my wife, and my kids were playing in front of us. This is a few years ago, and I was looking at them, and the way that they were playing, one was like the lever and one was like the fulcrum, and I was thinking about their relationship like that as well, like metaphorically.
Yeah.
But it's that push and pull,
Yeah,
like that's the push and pull of life, but also definitely creative life. But in the instance of this song, more so just life, it's the push and pull, like you can be both. You can, my wife very wisely says to me sometimes because I'm quite rigid in my thinking sometimes, and I don't like that, and I'll be like, it'll be like, am I being an indulgent guy for doing art when there's so many problems in the world? Shouldn't I be doing this? And then I'll be like, but I'm also contributing something because people need art and stuff. And she always says to me, like, 2 things can be true at the same time, and so yeah, that sort of, cynic and believer, fulcrum and lever, it's like, it's the duality of of not just the creative life, it's just the duality of life and the juxtaposing forces of all of our personalities, which is that's a big theme on this. I mean, to be honest, like I'm sort of only identifying these themes as you're saying them.
And I think this is something that a lot of great artists do, whether it's subconscious or not. You've ended side A on an ellipses or a question or
What's an ellipses?
Like a ...
Ah.
Like, I haven't given you the answer yet, but I'm heading towards an answer. The final lyrics of this song and the final lyrics of side A, I want to let go. This is a theme of the album, is the idea of letting go or the idea of finding peace or closure. Maybe we'll find it in side B. Stick with us for the next 2 episodes and we'll find out. How you feeling?
Good.
Yes, nice. Is this feeling good for you, or are you finding it weird to have your art analyzed?
I love talking about myself.
Well, then let's get people to buy the album, please. Buy Kingdom Within. Follow Josh on all social media.
And follow Cameron James on all social media.
Yep, even though we don't care about that sort of stuff.
We don't give a shit.
And stick with us for the next 2 episodes where we will find out if Josh will let go.